All right there, my fellow data junkies. Let's go ahead and get into some numbers for this month. The first thing to look at, of course, year-over-year sales from 313 down to 269. So year-over-year sold sales, which is really, I lead off with it because it's really the most important thing, right? Down 14.1%. Second thing to kind of take a look at, again, something I always want you guys to look at on this slide. There were 2,328 active listings this time last year, 2,574 listings, so up almost 11%. So look, smize it easily, right? Inventory's up, sales are down. Everybody knows, not great news if you're a seller, good news if you're a buyer. We'll get into an example in the end of the slide here where I look at something real specific that I think may be interesting to you guys. So keep watching and you get a little reward at the end. All right, let's go ahead and skip over average price per square foot. Was 350 down to 335, so down 4.3%. Look, as I always say, I mean, price per square foot, it's overall yardstick great, but you got to be careful using it because the average price per square foot of a waterfront single-family home is going to vary drastically from a inland condo or inland single-family home. So use it as a general measuring tool, but don't put a whole lot of stock in it. And I always say the same thing about the next slide too, right? Median pricing, simply because one sale can really pull the number up. So again, kind of take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. From 329,000 to 345,000, so up 5% if you're looking just at median home sale pricing in Fort Lauderdale. Again, use it as an overall tool. Don't put a whole lot of stock in it. That's all I can keep saying about that. Interesting, this next slide, right? From 104 days down to 81 days for average days on market, down 22.1% year over year. Things are selling at 91% of list price, up from 84% of list price. So that's a little bit interesting, right? Had faster sales taking place or lower time on market taking place, and selling for closer to asking price. So I was kind of going back and forth with one of you about what this kind of means, how this all kind of plays out. And again, in the end, I think we have an answer. I think you have to look at some specific data. But I think this is a really interesting slide because for a lot of you in the higher price point, you're looking at this like, what the heck, man? Condos in the higher dollar price points, forget closing. Not a whole lot of them are even selling, right? So we have to look at why this is happening, where it came from. And so we'll get to that in a minute. Oh, months of inventory. Everybody knows my second favorite slide that we look at, right behind the first one that I showed you. This tells you we are buyers or sellers market, right? From 4 months to 6 months to 8 months to 9 months. Year over year from 7.4 to 9.6, that's a 29.6% change. But I really think when you look at, June we haven't been looking at because of the pre-sales that were loaded in. It's not a good month of data to look at. But I think you can look from 6 to 9 months realistically at this and kind of conclude if 6 months is a balanced market, favors neither buyers nor sellers. Less than 6 months favors sellers, more than 6 months favors buyers. I think you can look at our overall market right now and say, once again, hey, here we are, it's a buyer's market. And I don't think you can draw any other conclusion right now. I just don't. The only thing that you can draw a different conclusion is when you get into different segments of the market. I'll tell you what I mean by that in just a second here. So let's go ahead and take a look and refer back to that first slide, right? So there were 269 sales, and somebody was asking me if I can get real data specific and look at single family homes priced below 350,000 and kind of give an overall thing of that. So let's just look at that for 1 second here, right? So 138 of the 269 sales, or 51%, took place below 350,000. Of those 138 sales, 55 or 40% were single-family homes. The days on market were 49 days, which is down 10% year over year. So if you look back at the other slides and you kind of compare this, you can see, so that segment of the market is really moving, right? Again, something to really take note of. More than half of our sales in Fort Lauderdale right now are taking place below 350,000. So let that kind of sink in while we roll to the second thing, which was somebody else asked me, hey, appreciate the median sales pricing, but can you tell me what average pricing looks like? So the average sales price in Fort Lauderdale this time last year was $629,000. It dropped to $582,000, or 7% year over year. So that's if we don't look at a median, but we look at an actual average. So a lot of things I think you can discern from the numbers I just gave you, kind of a decent amount to digest there. But again, and what I keep saying is, look, if you're below 350,000, you're selling. I mean, it's a decent market for that right now, right? Especially single family homes. I mean, to have 49 days on market, that's fast. It's very fast. So if you're a seller there, you're going to feel vastly different than if you're a seller of, $1.5 million condo, where, man, 49 days, wouldn't you're not even in the ballpark. So anyways, just once again goes to illustrate, I always tell you guys, if you're looking at a specific segment of the market, a specific property, please call me, let's talk about it, because the listing presentation that I give you for something below 350,000 is going to be vastly different than for something, $1 million and over, even $750,000. So let's talk. Hope everyone's well. We'll see you next month. Take care.